The Mike and Tony Show is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, people? My name is Kendrick Kennedy. I'm owner at 212 Performance Gym. I'm here with Mike and Tony. Hey, if you guys haven't checked them out, check them out. Great people, bringing the community together. Love being here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, buddy.
What's up?
You're back?
Back.
From foreign lands?
Back in action, man.
Back
saw
in action.
saw the podcast last week. Good job, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. It was very enjoyable. Like, you had German and Maui in the same spot, bro.
Yeah, I know. They're a ton of fun, and they had never been on the show together at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So, yeah. I was like, look at this, Pierce. Am I nervous? What's going on? My glasses fogging up. Remember back in the day? I remember the first 20 episodes. If you ever go back and watch those crazy episodes, pretty much every episode I'd be running up and down the stairs right before the show.
Yeah.
We'd start, and it was like a fog rolled in for me. I'm dripping. Got a little more relaxed over
those are back in the days when Twitter was running that thing called Periscope.
Oh my God,
remember?
I forgot.
And we were doing
that.
videos on Periscope.
Yeah. That's crazy. We have some random ones on YouTube too.
Yeah.
Where we were just like streaming. I don't know what we were doing. The audio wasn't hooked up.
No.
We really figured this out, I think, over the years.
Look at us. We went from a killing room to a full-on upgraded basement.
It sure was. It was a killing floor down here. And like we talked about, it was so hard to bring female guests down.
Yeah.
Like I was actually talking to somebody from work today that I think is a very fascinating person that I would love to come on the podcast. And I was just thinking about how back in the day we would have, if it was a female guest for dudes, whatever, don't give a shit. They just walk in there, messed up basement or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're two big dudes.
Yeah.
So we're like, come on down to our basement, and we're gonna record a podcast. Yeah.
and it's like surrounded by blankets and stuff, and so it's like no one can hear you.
Right, because I didn't have the money to, get all the stuff to actually soundproof the room,
Yeah.
And so we did what we had to do, man. Even, what the truth is, even until this last renovation, we still had stuff on the wall that was literally, I don't know if I've ever told you this. You remember the blue stuff? Maybe you knew this.
Yeah.
You know what it was?
What?
It was one of those like mattress cover things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could buy them. And it was way cheaper.
Yeah,
and I cut it up. And I put it up in the corners and it absorbs sound beautifully.
Yeah.
Because the original design of this room was to be an audio production room for music.
Yeah.
And that was really, I cared about. There was not going to be video shot in here or anything like that. And so it was very different feel.
Didn't need an aesthetic.
You know what's fucking hilarious is we did record videos in the beginning.
We did.
You can see go back to episode 1 just for 30 seconds, please. Don't
Go watch the whole thing.
But even though Fran is awesome, but we were all definitely wet behind the ears when it came to podcasting. But you look at the background and it's like this cavernous, it's just like this dark, like emptiness behind one side. The other side, there's like random boxes and things leaning on shit. You're just like, this is the epitome of a basement, but humble
Speaking
beginnings.
of Fran, by the way,
okay,
he's been moving stuff because he's moving, and he sent me a picture 2 days ago.
All right.
Of his arm completely black and blue.
He
tore his bicep.
No.
Like a bad one, bro. His whole arm is it's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, his hands all swelled up and everything like that. Let me see if I can find a picture real quick here and I'll show you.
Oh my God. For any new listeners, it's Fran was actually our very first guest.
Yes, number 150, 100.
Yeah, probably good. And was he 150? I think he was 150 as well.
150 too,
and 200.
Yeah.
We're on 220 today, which is pretty damn cool, buddy.
Wild, dude.
Yeah, 220 episodes. We're really cooking now, so now they're really accumulating fast. So the weird thing, I wonder what we're gonna do. Oh, okay, you got his. Oh my God! Let me put this camera on you if you want to put that as close to your camera. Oops, I can zoom in a little bit.
Zoom in later on post production there
for sure. That shit is crazy.
Yeah, it's he was like, he goes, I felt it go boing, and like it fucking hurts, bro. I'm like,
that looks so bad.
And guess what he did?
What?
So after that, he had to continue moving. He decided, he goes, I have to fucking keep moving this shit.
Wait, what? What? He kept going? No, he acted like he didn't have an injury, you're saying? Oh no! And now he's in a what is that?
Yeah, so
That
those
looks
are
very
sleeves.
restrictive.
Those are
dude.
sleeves, right?
That's
Those are
very restrictive.
Yeah, those are like the elbow sleeves, like when you work out and stuff. Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
he's like double. He's like all tripled up and everything, all up and down his arm. Fucking dude. And I was like,
Sorry to hear that.
You're gonna make it worse. And then he didn't go to the doctor until today, and so I'm waiting on a status report from him on that.
Oh, he went to the doctor today?
Oh yeah. He decided to wait because he also had to finish other
So
stuff.
when did he do this? When did it happen?
2 days ago.
Come on. Come on, buddy.
And that shit, if you go untreated, like on a torn muscle,
Sure.
and you don't get it like surgically done, like if
Okay.
it's that bad, right?
Yeah.
It just becomes like a lump of mass in that area, and your muscle doesn't heal correctly, bro. Because of that detached area, just like kind of heals right there, right?
So he's just that's gonna be an ongoing problem.
Well, if he doesn't get surgery or whatever like that, but
yeah,
like I said, I don't know. I don't know. What the
God,
prognosis is.
dude. God, I fucking Fron and his illnesses, dude.
Illnesses, injuries.
Injuries.
That guy, he had hand, foot, mouth disease from Mexico one time, and I was like, "Bro, isn't that like a baby disease? Don't like babies get that and shit?"
I remember.
He was like,
remember.
"Oh, I don't know, I got hand, foot, mouth disease, bro." I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Oh, I feel bad for him. I'll
And he's
keep him in my prayers
because he's one of my best friends. I've known him since
Of course.
kindergarten.
Yeah.
And he's an oversharer, so I get all the pictures. If he has fucking
I know.
sores in his mouth, he sends me pictures, and just like
And then we're homies, so I see a lot of those.
yeah.
I'm just like, fuck.
I'm just
Dude.
waiting for the day of like, is this anal bleeding? Like front? No, bro, no. Oh my god.
Oh, you should have zoomed in more at least, because I got the whole thing, buddy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Poor
he's
dude.
and like I said, he's moving soon, and so now like I was telling him, like I was like, yeah, because he's helped me move a few times. Like, I'll help you and everything like that. Now I really have to help him because he's not gonna be able to do anything. But I told him I was like, hire some fucking movers, bro. We're 40.
Bro, yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that, dude, because that is such a thing. Like, every once in a while, somebody dares ask this 45-year-old man to help physically move. I'm like, no. It's perfect. That's why I waited forever to get a truck.
Now you have a truck. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was
people are
saying.
like, yeah.
I timed it. I didn't want a truck when I was like, 31.
In your prime, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
31.
dollar, can you help me move?
Yeah, the truth is, I did have a truck for a while.
Yeah, you did. The
Yeah.
Frontier, yeah.
Yeah. And before that, too, I had my dad's old red truck,
Yeah.
the Toyota whatever they were called. Just a pickup back
Yeah,
then.
the pickup.
Toyota pickup 4x4. Yeah. Little 4-banger. That thing was cool. Thing's cool. I remember I had such a hard time letting go of it. It was red. He didn't have it lifted, but he had big wheels on it. And it was old school, the flat, just so fucking simple inside. It was manual. It was a lot of fun to drive. And then I remember selling it because at one point we had like 3 or 4 cars, and it was before we owned a house. And it was like, this is ridiculous.
Like, so many cars in this
why do we have
apartment.
too many cars, bro. Yeah, and so it got rid of it. But
I
I
mean-
told you the guy bought it right around here, so I see it once in a while.
Yeah, he says.
Love that.
Well, what is it? You remember my car that I had when I was at Jones? My
What'd you
little
have?
blue Mazda, that little hatchback.
Oh my God,
Little
I forgot about
323.
that. Yeah.
That thing was a beast too, because I drew from Broomfield to the tech center, bro. And so for anybody that's not in Colorado, that's a hour drive in traffic. You know?
Sure.
And that little thing, it was a 1990 Mazda 323 hatchback, my big ass in that thing.
Yeah.
But that thing got like 42 miles to the gallon, bro.
Yeah,
Like-
you can't argue with that, dude.
like I didn't even care. I was like, I'll roll with this, dude. I don't even.
Yeah.
You know, it started having a leaky like windshield, like in the seams.
Oh no.
So I got like fucking went to like Home Depot and got some like weaterproofing caulking and just like
Some hot glue up in that bitch. Just
yeah.
get the extension cord.
Because I remember I was like, the windshield's fine. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't need to replace this whole windshield. I just need to make sure there's no leaks in here anymore.
Right.
Like just
Yeah, amazing. It's amazing how far we come, not just the studio, but everything in our life.
Yeah.
The cars were I remember a funny car I had was, I remember I had a 1998 Ford Taurus that I had just fucked around. I lost my job in California. That's how I ended up moving out here. I was staying with my parents, and I hadn't paid in months, and I was young and stupid. Didn't even realize they will find your ass and
Still, yeah.
take your car. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the story I had where I was like, it was the middle of the night, and my mom's the one who told me. She was like, dude, they're out there taking your car, son. You better go talk to them. I'm in my underwear. It's snowing. I literally run out there, and I'm like, dude, please, can I just get my stuff out of it? And he's like, if you don't give me any problem, you give me the keys, yeah, you can get everything out of it. And I was like, thank you, dude. And I was like, damn, they really do take your shit.
Yeah.
So I had no car. So then my sister had I want to say it was a 98 or a 97 as well. It was right around there, but it was a Dodge Avenger.
Okay.
And it was cool. To me, it was
The
cool.
little 2-door one?
Yeah. It was. Which funny because the doors were so heavy. I just remember the big ass doors.
Yeah.
Back when the interior part felt like it was coming apart.
Oh, yeah.
It's all rattling and shaking and shit. One speaker's out. But my sister, I remember after they took my car, and she was like, you can have that car if you want it. And I was like, are you just going to give me her car? And she was like, yeah. I was like, awesome. I drove that shit for, I don't know, at least 5 years.
Yeah.
And then we sold it to Myra's aunt, and she drove it at least another 5.
Yeah.
So, hey, shout out Dodge Avengers from 1998. Might have been 97. I can't remember.
So that Mazda 323 that I had, I sold it. I bought it for $500.
Yeah.
And then I sold it to my friend Tracy for $500.
Oh, yeah.
And then he sold it to his friend for $500. And then his friend sold it back to him.
And long story short, this car is
for
worth
$500
$2 million now.
His friend sold it back to him for $500. So this car's just been like never depreciated in value. It's always sold for $500 the whole entire time.
Yeah.
But speaking of like the cars given to you, I had an ex-girlfriend. Her mom. I was on the same thing. What was it? I just got in an accident with the Camaro. And I didn't have a car anymore. And so, the girl at the time that I was dating, we worked at the same place. And so I was like, hey, can I just get rides with you? You can stay at my apartment, or I can stay at your place, back and forth. Like, we didn't live together, but we just kind of stayed at each other's places here and there.
Those days.
And so, eventually her mom was like, do you want the Grand Prix? Like, I don't drive it, and she goes, "It's been paid off and everything like that." And I was
that is the coolest when somebody just gives you a vehicle.
And it was like, but it was a pretty jank Grand Prix. I'm not gonna lie, but I was like, "Fuck, it's free car."
Right.
Like I will take a fucking free car, bro. And this is I was like, fucking, I want to say 22, 22 years old. Okay. And I didn't care. Fuck, dude, it was a Grand Prix. It was the one that had like the square tail lights. That was like checkered tail lights kind of a deal.
Oh yeah.
And 2-door. It was turquoise.
That's the same color as my Ford Taurus, by the way.
Oh, is it turquoise too? What was with the colors back then? It was like fucking turquoise is like the car to have, dude. But it was turquoise. And the fucking the driver, the passenger side mirror was just hanging there. Right, it was just hanging there. And so finally I was like,
excellent.
I was like, this fucking drive, because if you go high enough speeds, that thing is like just like rattling on the side of your car, right, dude? You're just like, fuck, dude.
It's so ridiculous.
And so I was like, I don't care, I don't need that. I don't need that head. I don't need this fucking side mirror. So I remember just getting some wire clippers and
just cut it off.
I'm like, fuck it, dude, I don't need this thing right here, dude.
That is funny, dude.
I
remember my friend had a Chevy Cavalier.
Yeah.
I don't think it had a year. I think it was just always was.
Cavalier.
It was a Chevy Cavalier, and I remember the whole fucking dash. He could pull it off, and he would like pull it up. It was like a bragging thing. He was like, "This thing's so beat up." It had I don't even remember. It had literally hundreds of thousands of miles on it. I don't remember. It was like 3.5, something like that, and. Also, he could pull the key out of the ignition. This is
it's different. It's still driving.
Yes, yeah. Today is a little different how keys work, but back then you had to have a manual key. You had to turn it in. Yep. If you pulled the key out, you can't run the car. Like it had to be in, but not his. He could take it out and throw it out the window.
Yeah,
just fucking drive down the road, and never be able to start it again.
That's how that Grand Prix was too.
Yeah,
and then the Grand Prix also had 2 keys, right? One for the ignition, which was the square key.
Okay.
And then the circle key, which is for like the doors and the trunk.
Okay.
So 2 different keys to do.
Right. Have a key changes for your car.
Yeah. But what was really funny about that car is eventually me and the girl broke up.
Okay.
And it was hilarious because Like I was staying at these ghetto apartments. This is the apartments that I was sleeping one day and woke up to dunk, 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 dunk. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's like it's like noon.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, go up to the front door and it's like the property manager and police.
Oh,
and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And they were like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. They were like, you were not alarmed or anything like that? I was like, no, what's up? I was just sleeping. He goes, you were asleep? I was like, yeah. He goes, there's a bullet hole through your window in their back.
Whoa.
And I was like, what?
Oh
so
my God.
we walked to the back in my bedroom. There's a bullet hole, and it was like went through the window and it went through my closet. And somewhere it stopped in between the kitchen and the
Dumb
closet.
luck, it wasn't through you.
And so, but it was, it was in the bed, right? Just like, but yeah, I was like, whoa. I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, okay. Like it was just like it was.
That's wild.
And they were like, oh, we'll get this all fixed. We'll get you a new window. And I was like, okay. And like dumbass me should have been like, and can I get a free month? Like I should have been like, but you know what? The kids nowadays will never know of that fucking $600 rent, bro.
Oh, I know.
I paid $600 for that apartment.
My very first apartment, $500.
Yeah, dude. It was a whole ass apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, $600.
Mine was I guess it was a 1-bedroom. It was like was it called a studio back then? Yeah.
So
it was like you walked in, there was
unit.
like kind of a front area. The kitchen was like on one side with linoleum, like a little square of linoleum. And then in the back was another room with a closet where I grew weed. And then there was a bathroom back there. And it had a nice little patio in the back too, which was kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, it was nice for
but there wasn't doors, so everything was just like open, right? Because that's what a studio is.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't a studio then.
Yeah, so you had a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, I had a 1-bedroom apartment too for $500.
Fucking $600. Dude,
Makes
these
sense.
Kids will never know.
No, they won't. They have no idea.
No idea, bro. And it was just it was funny because like I said, that particular apartment, it was hood. It was ghetto, dog.
Dude,
like
a bullet went through your room.
One day I came
all I
from
gotta
work.
say.
One night I came from work, and that's when I was like working at Carrabba's, for my second job. I was working at night. I was a server, and I came home from the dinner shift, and everyone was a dinner shift. It was only open from 4 to 10, but came home at night. I'm walking up to my apartment, and there is fucking SWAT dollar.
Dude, this is a separate thing.
Yeah, there's SWAT,
Oh
and
my
they were like
God.
arresting my neighbors above me, and this was before weed was legal, obviously, because I was like 22, and so SWAT's above me, and I'm like walking, I'm still in my apron, bro, my white press shirt, and I'm like walking with shit and everything, and they're like, it's like, what apartment you in? I was like, right here. And he's like, do you know these guys above? I was like, nah, dude. And he was like, okay. And I was like, what happened? He's like, they're growing weed up here. Selling and growing weed.
Wait,
up
where
here.
was this? That might have been me.
But I was like, yeah, fine. And I knew they were growing and selling because every single day, like I could, like if I turned on my air conditioning in that front unit, it's a window unit.
Yeah.
Dude, it smelled like fucking weed in my apartment, like all the time.
Okay, mistake number 1 is growing weed in an apartment. Right?
Yeah.
Allegedly, I have some experience in this. You would never want to do it anywhere. The more space around where you're growing it, the better.
Yeah.
Because it can get really potent.
Oh,
Like, you
dude.
can-
Yeah. Like I said,
it's
I
get
turned on my
pretty-
air conditioning. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why the SWAT team was there.
Yeah.
Right? It's fucking just pretty obvious.
And this apartment, $2, no lie. Every week, there would be new shit in the middle of like the little courtyard area because someone got evicted, bro. And so when they evict you, they just take your shit out of your apartment and just put it in the middle of the fucking courtyard. And it's
You're
like,
definitely living in a ghetto neighborhood.
bro, and it was just, and there's people just like this, like going through and like taking shit.
Like a rummage
Yeah,
sale,
bro.
except it wasn't
Just
a
like
sale. It was free.
Like someone's like taking a TV and they're like, no, it's my TV. And I was
Oh,
like,
shit.
You're
Because
like-
you haven't had a chance. Maybe you don't have if you're getting evicted, you probably don't got a vehicle. You don't have a way to get your shit, put it anywhere.
bro,
Oh my God.
every week, there was brand new shit in the middle of the courtyard, dude.
Yeah.
And I
Was there
like,
always
"Man."
music playing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My neighbor.
Of course.
My
Of course.
neighbors.
Yeah. Funny. That's funny.
But oh, wait, sorry. So yeah.
Yeah.
But with the car,
Yes. Right.
the car that I had, at that time, that Grand Prix that they got from the ex-girlfriend,
Yeah.
it got stolen from that parking lot like 3 times. The third time, I was like, fuck it, dude. It's like I don't even want it back, bro. I was like, because what would happen was like they'd steal it and then they'd find it and then they'd call me. Well, what happened was the first time it got stolen, it was still registered under my ex-girlfriend's mom's name.
Oh,
and so she like called me and she'd be like, hey, they said the car got stolen. I was like, yeah, I did.
You weren't even trying to get it. You're like, yeah, I've been working on trying to find it.
And they were like, okay, well, they said they found it in this, ditch or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's in the impound. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go get it, and so went there and got it. But bro, the thing, is an old ass car, ghetto car, and it was just like people stole it just to joyride in my shit. Like, it wasn't even like you're not taking that just to like drive around town and having a good ass time, bro.
Right.
Because it's a fucking Grand Prix, an old ass Grand Prix with no fucking right mirror.
Yeah, you're just stealing it for shits and giggles.
Yeah, you're just stealing it for shits and giggles at that point. And like I said, it didn't. You can take the key out too. So by that time, you can probably fucking stick a screwdriver in there and start that bitch up.
It's so funny how old cars were. Yeah, sure.
And so,
Sure.
but yeah, so the third time it happened, I was like, "Fuck it, dude.
I don't care.
I don't care anymore, dude." It's like this got stolen again.
You know what that reminds me of for me was my Beats headphones. When the Beats first came out, they were awesome.
Yeah.
But if you dropped them, they were
dude.
fucked. They were like, it was like crystal.
Cracked in the middle right here, right?
It was like crystal.
We got Big Heads Dollar. And so what my thing was on those Beats was I'd take off the headphones and it'd be like, snap! Like it'd snap right here in the middle. And you're just like, fuck, dude. Because then you can't put it back on your head.
Yeah.
Like you can tape that all you want.
Yeah.
But that's not holding that form or shape. It's just dangling on top of your head now.
It doesn't work. I literally had a tape on them at one point. I remember having tape on a pair, but that was my Beats because for me, they would fall off.
Yeah.
Like because if you had them set too loose, like when you're working out, kind of gets a little off or whatever, but you're in the middle of something and then it just slips because you're sweating and everything, hits the ground.
Bam.
Every fucking time broken. And I kid you not, dude, I must have got 5 pairs.
Yeah.
Because every time they knew it was a problem. And so you would just call them, say, hey, this thing broke. Yep, send it in. We'll send you a new one. And you'd get the newest one or whatever. And I did that like 5 times. And then, it was the same thing. They broke that last time. I was like, fuck these things. Yeah. Get some different headphones.
Fucking car. You have the car, man. It's your car now. So somewhere there's a turquoise Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I mean, I did get it registered in my name.
I never thought about that. Like the cars you drive over the years, they're somewhere.
They're still somewhere. Yeah.
They're somewhere. That's wild. I wonder where that 98 Ford Taurus is. I wonder where that 2001 Nissan Frontier is.
You know where the truck is, obviously, the red one. So
yeah, I know where it's right around here. This dude bought it right over here around me. Yeah. No, that's crazy. Cars have lives. Like, I wonder, and I know this is probably just woo-woo shit, but I feel like you could feel a vibe. Like, because I drove a couple of Tacomas, and some of them were really nice. There were newer ones than the one I got, but it's you don't feel it. You get in, and you're like, I don't know, something's off. Like this dude probably put some hard miles. I don't know. Something's wrong. Something's off. There wasn't love for this truck here. And when I got in the one I've got, dude, I told you, it's like an old lady drove. It's just like no miles. Everything's pristine. That shit's a 2016.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's 2024. That thing's not new.
Yeah.
But it feels new.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking dope. Cool how cars have energies in past lives. It never occurred to me. I mean, occasionally probably a car maybe has been somehow destroyed or whatever, totaled in an accident or something like that. But for the most part, most cars are still out there.
Yeah.
What happens? I guess they all end up in a junkyard eventually.
Yeah.
Old ones that don't get any
crushed or
love
whatever,
anything.
or recycled, something
sad.
like that. And that my first car I was the second owner of that car. It was an 82 Caprice. It was light brown, light tan, right? But at the
That's such a great color.
and the interior was like the maroon red color.
Okay.
And it was bench seating, front and back. So I can sit fucking 4 people wide, front and back. I'm rolling with 8 deep. In this.
And you
car.
guys are all young. You have waists that are like 28
Yeah,
inches.
Yeah. And so it's like, I remember getting it, and we got it because my grandpa knew this family in Kansas, and the old lady that owned the car was not allowed to drive anymore. And so they were like, yeah, for that, and it's the magic number $500. They're like, yeah, $500, you can have this car. And I was like, oh, sweet. I was like, yeah. And so
For $1,000 back then, you could have a car and an
so my
apartment.
granddad went to fucking Kansas and got this car, and old lady in Kansas, bro, she drove it to the grocery store, into church in the grocery store. That's where she went. And it's an 82. I got it in 96 when I was ready to drive.
Okay.
It had 64,000 miles.
Whoa.
It's 16 years old, 64,000 miles,
That's
bro.
wild. That's wild.
And so when I got it, it was in awesome shape, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, I swear to God, I was like, this has got to be the fucking first Caprice that had power everything. It had power steering, power windows. I had air conditioning dollar, you know? And it was everything. And so, you know, when you first get it, the first thing I did obviously was put a stereo in it.
Yeah, of course, back in the day. Yeah.
A new Sony Explode deck that had the detachable, you know, the faceplate. Put some speakers in there, right? Some Sony Explode speakers. I took it to Best Buy and had them fucking installed. Yeah, do it up, buddy.
Do it up.
Do it up.
Yeah.
And then I got then my buddy Justin bought me some rims for my birthday. Well, not bought me some rims. He had a 72 Chevelle. And he got new rims for his Chevelle.
Ooh, a 72.
And he was like, you want these rims? I was like, yes. And so they were nice and made it flushed out look, and it was awesome. And then, you know, my buddy Jeff would go frequent the pick and pull, right, for his cars. And so I remember going to the pick and pull one time, and there was a police interceptor there. Because back in the day, you know, Caprices used to be police cars, like the Crown Victorias, like Ford used to be.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
And so we found a police interceptor there. So we took off the heads of that police interceptor, and we put the heads on my car.
Oh, shit.
The Caprice. So, you know, it was a 350 engine, you know, and so like people would roll up to me and they're like, run, 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 run. And I just be like, it was like, they're like, what the hell? Like, you know, four-door boat? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that one, the story from my car is like, I got in an accident on Smoky Hill and T-boned this lady at 40 miles an hour. She just turned, bro. She just decided to turn right in front of me.
Ooh.
Like, you know, just like, whoop. And I just said, whoop.
Passenger side?
Yeah, her passenger
Was
side,
there a passenger?
Bro. No, there
Thank
wasn't.
God.
Yeah, because so afterwards, because, you know, you get the police reports for insurance and everything like that.
Yeah.
In my police report, I sent her 150 feet in the opposite direction.
Whoa.
So after I hit her, sent her 150 feet in the other direction. She had 20 inches of indent on the passenger side.
Oh, yeah, that would have fucked somebody up.
Oh, it would have mashed somebody, bro.
For sure, 20 inches.
She had
Almost 2
she had
feet.
a brand new Camry at the time. So probably like some like 2000 something Camry.
Wow.
Almost
Oof.
2 feet, bro. So that's almost to her.
Yeah.
That indent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like I was facing the opposite direction. Like my, you know, since I'm tall, my fucking knees went through my dashboard.
Ouch.
And since I freaked out, my steering wheel was bent.
Oh,
So I was like, no! And I just said, and I bent my steering wheel backwards, bro.
I didn't know they bend.
Yeah, well, yeah, apparently they
I
do.
thought they would just like snap or something.
Yeah,
Whoa.
but after I got in the accident, I remember like, I was like, oh my God. After everything was done, I was like, open up the door and people were like, get back in your car. You might be really injured. I was like, that lady is dead, bro. I was like, oh my God, that lady's dead.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
oh my gosh. And I was
scary.
like freaking out, right?
Yeah.
And like, no, sit down, please sit down. Someone's checking on her. I was like, that lady's dead. I was like, I hit her at 40 miles an hour. She just cut me off. All of a sudden, just cut me off. And so there was witnesses, and they all corroborated the story, right? They were like, yeah, she turned. She took the ride away from you. She got a ticket on top of that, bro.
Oh,
from
was
the
she
police.
okay?
So when we both went to the hospital together, right? Obviously in two different ambulances. And I looked at her, bro. She had cuts all on the side of her, right side of her face.
Glass, maybe?
From the glass.
Oh,
just shattering and shooting
jeez.
at her.
That the impact. We don't realize our bodies are
Yeah.
not meant for those speeds.
Yeah.
That level of force is so crazy.
She had duck lips.
Oh,
From
man.
the airbag going bow and hitting her face.
Smacking you in the face. That's real.
Yeah.
People get fucked up from airbags.
Yeah.
Saves your life,
Yeah,
but
she had duck lips just like swollen up and everything.
damn, dude.
And I was like, oh my God. And like, I just remember it was like, that police report was wild though. I was like shit, dude. And then same thing, right? My insurance company was like, your vehicle's totaled, unfortunately. And I was like, oh man, are you serious? They were like, yeah. And so, you can get everything out of your vehicle from the tow yard that's not electronically attached or attached with any nuts and bolts. I was like, fuck, I want to take the rims. I want, you know what I mean? I was like, I want the rims. I want my stereo.
Yeah.
Like, I want my speakers, everything like that. And they they paid out. I got paid $1,800, for it,
Yeah.
It's a $500 car. But when I got to the tow yard, the guy was like, "You're the Caprice?" I was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "Yo, you won, bro. You won, bro." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yo." He goes, that year of Camry, he goes, it's brand new. He goes, it's brand new. He goes, you hit, her Camry is brand new. And he was like, you broke all of her windows.
Oh God.
He goes, you deployed every single one of her airbags. I was like, damn,
bro,
dude. Yeah. He's like,
you hit her hard.
He goes, she had side curtains and everything. He's like, you deployed all that stuff.
Shit.
In her car. And he was like, here's yours. And mine was like just damaged in the front, right? And I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, I bet. I was like, why can't I take this? He goes, let me show you why. And we went to the back of the car, and my trunk had a little crease in it.
Not fixable.
And he's like, you little crease in your trunk here, bro. He goes, that means your frame is bent. He goes, and once something happens to the frame,
it's done, son.
It's done.
It's done.
I was like, damn, dude. He goes, he was like, I'd let you take out the stereo and everything like that, but my boss was here. I was like, fuck, man.
Oh, that'd have been cool though if he had better timing.
So,
or maybe he was full of shit. Maybe he's just saying that.
Yeah,
That's what he tells everybody.
But then I saw her car getting towed off too at the same time.
Damn.
And I was like, fuck, dude.
I worry about that with my truck because I've got a ram guard on the front. What's it called? Is that what it's called? Ram bar.
Yeah.
I got a ram bar, like a pretty significant one.
Yeah.
So I try to drive like a grandpa because even though, Tacomas aren't huge, but heavy enough when with that thing on the front, you're flying down the freeway or something or flying in anything fast.
Yeah.
If I T-bone somebody, I'd be having the same panic attack that you probably
that's
had,
with
dude.
my Jeep.
Yeah.
With the bumper on my Jeep dollar, that Stinger bumper I have.
Yeah.
If I'm hitting anybody T-boning that,
They're done.
They're done.
Yeah.
Done, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's kind of selfish, but like I like driving a truck because I don't know, I just feel safer.
Yeah.
Like, when I was in that driving like the Honda Accord or something like that and being really low to the ground,
Yeah.
and just kind of, those are the people that go underneath diesel trucks and shit. You know what I mean? You have nightmares.
Fast and Furious.
right. No, that shit really happens. That actually happened recently on 70 over here. That was last year or two. I can't remember when that was, but
yeah. No, with my Jeep, same thing. Like when people are merging over and someone doesn't see you, and they're coming over and you're like, all right, I hope you stop because you're gonna have a whole side full of rubber marks because my Jeep tires are oversized large
right
35s, and so they stick out a little bit.
Right.
So if somebody's gonna hit the side of me, it's gonna you can get some tire rub first.
Yeah.
So,
oh shit. That's crazy.
And then same with the back too. If you hit the back of me.
You're like in a tank, dude.
Yeah, that's like the rear bumper is that whole steel bumper with the hitch and everything that.
Oh God, that's gonna pierce shit. You're in trouble. Yeah,
yeah. And then again, the stinger bumper.
But it's nice if you're the driver of it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, if shit goes down, I'm pretty safe. I'm pretty good, But the truth is that your odds go down. Like there's crazy numbers on that. Like if you drive, it's all about speed most of the time.
Yeah.
Like on average, how fast you go is a direct correlation with odds that you'll get in a car accident.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't say that because people get in fender benders, but if you're going fast, that's when you get in the deadly car accidents where either you or someone else dies or is, critically injured or something like that. Yeah, you can't play around. Vehicles, that's why it's important. It's like, to me, it's the same as a gun. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're doing. Because even like my daughter, she's been driving for 6 months with her permit so far. And so she's getting there. She's got so many miles. We let her drive all the time.
Yeah.
Still figuring it out, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not bad at all.
Yeah.
But there's just certain times you can just feel the greenness of the driver where they take a turn too fast or they just kind of misjudge like the physics of a situation or whatever.
Yeah. And then you're all like, oh.
Yeah.
On the turns, right? So
and of course, they're all
taking a turn too fast. Oh.
And they're super sensitive, so you don't want to be like what the hell? You're grabbing onto shit. I try to play it cool.
I'm done.
It's over for me. I did not go out like that. Teach my teenagers to drive.
I know.
Man.
I know. I got taught how to drive when I was like 14.
Really?
Yeah, because my parents, are divorced, and so my dad moved to Greeley, and so he'd come down and pick us up, and then take us back up to Greeley, and he had a old Honda Accord, like a '79 Honda Accord.
Damn. Okay.
And
good cars though.
It was a stick shift.
Wow.
And so this thing, dude, was like we were going up and around I-25, and this is back in the day where it was like I-25 north was just 2 lanes. And he pulls over to the side, and he was like, "All right, we're gonna learn how to drive today." And I was like, what?" He goes, "All right, hop in." I was like, "Oh God, okay, I'm 14." I'm like, so he's like, "All right, so stick shift is on a regular car." He goes, "So you're gonna need to push that left foot down, and then you're gonna put it on a gear." He's like, "And then you're gonna kind of ease them both out." He goes, "As this one comes out,
figuring that clutch out when you."
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it's always like a violent jerk.
Yeah.
And so that happened a couple times. I couldn't get it started, and then eventually I got it started. But then I'd be like driving. He goes, my dad was like, "Always listen for that whine, like when you're driving. You
it's
hear
a feel."
And I was like, what do I do? And he's like,
at 9 RPMs.
He's like, shift now. You got to shift now. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, oh my God, dude. And he's like, I'm grinding gears. I'm not pushing the clutch all the way in, right? And so, my first learning how to drive was an old ass 79 Accord.
That's hilarious. We both learned to drive on manuals.
Yeah.
On stick shifts. Because my grandma taught me to drive.
Okay.
And it was a Chevy Love. You ever seen one of those?
Uh-huh.
Like those little pickup trucks. It was a light blue. She used to call it Lil Blue. And I told you the story before about how it was like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like it just, my grandparents, in their younger days, when they got older, they both quit drinking and smoking. But when they were young, dude, they were crazy. They just drank vodka and smoked cigarettes constantly. Just cigarettes everywhere. Ashtrays, chain smoking. It was a thing back then. And so, but she
liners all yellow and everything. Like
everything, dude. Just coated. Everything's coated in smoke. But I remember she taught me to drive, and she was the best teacher because she was so patient and never freaked out. Because you're so terrified. You don't realize, as a kid, you're watching people drive thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to drive. That sounds so fun." Yeah. And then you start and you're like, "Holy shit, this big ass heavy vehicle." But I learned on a manual. It was a Chevy Love. And I remember one time I was driving with her. We're flying down the road. Not flying. We're probably going 35, 40 down the road. And this is before anti-lock brakes. So we're coming, and for whatever reason, and now I see my daughter do it, and so I try to cut slack because I was like, what was wrong with me? Because my grandma was like, "Light, Tony, light, honey, there's a light, Tony, light." Oh, and I see her hold on. She like holds on like this, and then and I'm like, "Ah!" I slam on the brake, slide right into the middle of the intersection, stop dead in the middle of the intersection, and then I'm like, "What do I do?" She's like,
"Oh no!"
She's like, "Okay, you need to get going. There's people waiting. People are honking, fucking everybody's going." I'm sitting in the middle of the intersection. I started off. Took me 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm just sweating bullets. You know what I'm saying? You're like, this is the worst experience. I'm never fucking driving again. Fuck cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand. It was like no anti-lock brakes. I just remember we just slid like a slip and slide right into the middle of the intersection. Bless my grandma. That was the most worked up she ever got. But I mean, rightfully so. We fucking ran a red light, slid into the intersection, blocked everybody up. Thank God nobody was flying through there at the time,
Yeah, I know. It was like
could have been dead.
And then once you get your license, right? I remember because now there's so much rules, right? I mean, you know it. You have kids that are driving and have gone through it. Like, I think after I got my license, they changed the laws to where you had to have like a certain amount of hours. Like when you were 16 and you got your license, a certain amount of hours, by yourself before you can drive with passengers.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Is that the thing still?
It's still the thing.
Okay. Yeah. And so they stopped that like right when I got my license. And so I was like, "Oh shit." Because I remember like my friends afterwards, they had to do that. because I'm like, my birthday's in January here.
Right.
And so, but yeah, they had to get all their hours and everything like that. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. But,
which makes sense, right? Because that's the reason that happened was so many careless kids.
Yeah.
Because it's just a crazy time to whose fucking idea was it that that's when you learn to drive?
yeah.
Right. You don't drink till you're 21. You can't have weed till you're 21.
Yeah.
But you can control this big ass vehicle when your brain's still developing and your hormones fucking raging through your body. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Makes zero sense to me. I don't even get it.
And so the story I have was like when we were 16, me and my friend Amy, we went. we had a thing. We were going to go downtown here in Denver.
All right.
At 16 years old, brand new, fresh license and everything,
Oh,
right?
jeez.
And then we're driving, and I'm just like, I remember she's driving, and I'm like, same thing. I'm like, Amy, that's a red light. Amy, it's a red light. And Amy, that was a red light. We just went right through that. I don't know how we. Okay. And then the same thing with stop signs. Like, Amy, that's a stop sign. Amy, that's a stop. Right.
That was a.
Like, and it was just like, and then it was like, and almost like those clueless moments, right, when she's learning how to drive and she's on the highway, like, what do I do?
God.
There was a point when we were
That's
doing
the
that
worst
too.
place.
That was the point where we were doing that too. Like when you're downtown and it's like, when you're first learning how to drive and it's like one ways.
Yeah.
And it's like this way is one way, and then the other way is one way, and the other way is one way. You have to, every other is a different way. And we were just like, we don't, like, okay, turn left here. Oh, we can't turn left here. It's right.
Some cars.
It's,
Oh God, back up.
It's one way that way. Okay, we'll get in that lane, and then we'll go turn that way. And then we get over there and like, oh no, the one way's that way. Now we're just like, no, no way.
Yeah,
just like,
that was me when I moved to Colorado.
Yeah,
because where I was at, there was no one ways anywhere.
Oh.
And then I came out here and I was like, what the fuck is a one-way road? What is happening? Like, that's like a 1 in a million where not in California, but where I grew up. It was 1 in a million. I never saw those. That's crazy. Like a one-way road was like separated. There was like, it was like a country road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just going this way. And then there was a big island the other way. And there's one on the other side. Totally different. But
yeah.
Yeah, man, it is. Doesn't that seem weird though, that that's when kids learn to drive? We're like, this is the time for you to learn to control a vehicle. When you're experimenting with drugs, when you have hormones raging through your bodies.
Yeah.
You can't control anything. You're crying all the time. Shit's going weird, right?
Yeah.
Let's teach them to drive.
A majority of kids always running late, so.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. But that was the coolest.
Yeah.
Like, even though that thing smelled like smoke and everything else, I would always clean out all the ashtrays and stuff, and carry my friends around, go get lunch.
Yeah.
At lunch. It was fun to drive it to school, which wasn't every day. It depended if she needed it.
Yeah.
She was, at the time, she was retired, but she was like part-time working at, it was called H&H Craft and Floral, which is like Michael's.
Okay.
It was like a Michael's or whatever back then. Yeah. God, I miss my grandma so much. Grandparents, I think, are so important.
Yeah.
Just older people around, even if they're not your grandparents, just like, especially now, I feel like times are changing so fast. And not to be too narcissistic about our generation, but I do feel like our generation we're like the last ones that were pre-internet.
Yeah.
And when we go one day, there's no more. Like, eventually nobody will know what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They won't have any idea.
What do you mean there wasn't internet?
Yeah, because that's how my kids are. They've always been like that. It's like like an old story that they're like, is this real? And you're like, back in the day.
Well, I still remember telling you the story when Callie asked me when what was it like when the world turned into color?
Oh yeah,
because he goes fucking black and white TVs, right? And then all of a sudden we have color TVs, and she didn't understand. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what was it like when everything changed to color?
Right.
Like, no
clue.
That's not how it worked. It was not Pleasantville.
It
wasn't Pleasantville. It was black and white.
Yeah, super wild. But times, man, they change. They fly by so fast. I feel like we change as people. I mean, you just had a birthday. How old are you now? 40?
43.
43. Okay. I'm 45. I'm about to turn 46. Yeah. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Thinking 50 is just over the horizon feels
so now you're gonna
surreal.
be late. You're gonna be early.
Okay,
mid
stop.
40s.
Nope, we're not doing this.
You're gonna be early mid 40s, and I am late early mid 40s, and you are
early, late, mid 40s.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. That's wild. Today at school, when I was teaching, I left my glasses in my truck.
Uh-huh.
So when I got in the building, I went into my homeroom, and I wear my glasses all the time. And so when I walked into homeroom, the kids were like, everybody's like, whoa. And then they were like, who are you? Can you see? I'm like, they're not that bad. I can see you. But then they were like, mister, you look way older. I'm like, why do you fucking kids always want to tell us old people that we're old? We know we're fucking old. You don't got to remind me every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Then at one point I snuck out because we have 2 teachers in that room. I snuck out, grabbed my glasses, came back in. And then they were like, Mr. Dollar, back to 25. And I was like, okay.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, you get an A.
Yeah.
You get an A. Yeah. Yeah, we're in the hustle bustle at work right now, dude. This is the time of year where that big old ugly standardized test is coming our way, and we're trying to get the kids prepped. And and I've talked about it before. I try to look at it as we're not teaching to a test, but the concepts on those tests really are valuable, and they are sort of the standards for what you got to learn, And so, literally, I guess they are the standards, right? That's what we call them.
Standardized test.
Saying really profound shit tonight. Yeah, but so we're in the hustle bustle. It's go. One of those crazy ass weeks where you're just like nonstop, where you don't get a break. Like I start in the morning at 7:30 and we're running around all the way until all of a sudden you look at the clock and it's 5:15 and you're like, fuck, I have 2 hours of work.
Yeah. Yep. That's been me like the last couple of months, dude. Yeah. I mean, with the new job, it's just been like go. And now I'm kind of getting like, after this busy season and after, all these contracts I've got done and finalized, like now I'm looking at things. I'm like, okay, I can kind of like pick through some like old stuff that I've like put on the side, not so important stuff,
Right,
and then
right.
but then like this week was a wild week because on Tuesday, Donald Trump goes through and says there's going to be a pause on all federal payments.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that's my job,
dude. He is doing some shit, bro. He's just fucking pulling every lever, hitting every switch,
dude. So everybody went into panic mode, because again, I work in federal financing, federal money, and so everyone panicked, bro. Tuesday was a shit storm. Because because it was like nobody's getting paid, and that's what I do. I do all the federal contracts.
Oh my!
I do all the federal
dude.
payments and everything like
that's
that.
The worst
place
to be.
And so I was like, and like this, the Secretary of State's like, stop everything. I was like, okay, really, you're just like, okay, stop everything. But then they rescinded that, right? And it was like, okay, well, it doesn't apply to you guys. Like, oh
yeah, they made some like exceptions,
okay, cool.
right?
Yeah,
wasn't that the deal?
Yeah, but then today he had a thing where everybody that's like in certain departments of the federal government is required to take off their pronouns on their emails.
Whoa!
It was a requirement by 5 p.m. today
to take your pronouns off for what, federal
employees.
Whoa! Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. And did you know about is it East High School? Is that where it was?
Okay.
Where they're doing a full-on investigation because at an all-gender restroom. But to me, I was like, and trust me, I'm like, a lot of this stuff has gotten really out of hand, and I'm with some of it. I'm like, we're going too far. But to me, I'm an all-gender restroom. What the fuck? It's just a restroom. It's not like, and especially the ones, if it's like the ones that we have at our school, it's like a one-person restroom.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're in there with other people.
Yeah.
Because I could see things, when you've got like, multiple stalls and things like that. But yeah, and it was because somebody wrote a letter directly to him or to somebody, one of his people, and just basically complained and said, they're doing crazy shit over here. It's wild, dude. We're scared too because they're they're trying to get all school records now. They're trying to change things so that they can have access to everything that parents put when they register for school. Which, I mean, I don't know. There's a ton of kids at our school that are.
So the other thing that's that are scary that everyone's scared about now is the FAFSA data and the CASFA data. So
And for
us,
listeners, FAFSA is your financial aid
yeah,
application,
that's
right?
the
For federal financial aid.
the free application for student federal aid. And then we also have the CASFA, which is the Colorado application for student, aid. Not federal aid, it's student aid. And CASFA is generally for your non-U.S. citizens, right?
Okay.
People that
Sure.
are not naturalized.
Because they're not
like
going to
that.
qualify for federal aid.
Yeah, they're not going to qualify for federal aid. So, the state tries to get them a little something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now there's been this whole DEI thing cracking
They're
down.
going to be shutting all that shit down.
And so what they're trying to say
Damn,
is they're trying to use that data to find people. And so now all these schools are they're like, hey, this is federal mandate, you have to comply to this. And so some schools are being like pushing back on it, and other schools are just being like, well, if we don't see it, if we don't,
Where's that at? Is it Alabama? No, it wasn't Alabama. I don't want to misspeak. Where's that one? Was it Georgia? I think it's Georgia. Where that, as soon as Trump got elected, that dude was like, "We are on board with everything. Everybody, fucking get ready,
Yep.
because it's about to change up in this bitch."
Yeah.
And then just started just cutting people, changing everything,
Yep.
before any of it even got to any of the federal stuff even took place.
Yeah.
He was immediately like, "We're on board." Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's really wild. I don't-
Wow, that shit, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see if things really come to fruition. But that's the one thing about Trump, like him or hate him or whatever. He does shit. He's doing a lot of shit. A lot of shady shit. A lot of shit that's going to hurt a lot of people, sure.
Yeah.
But he is doing things. He's not a lazy president. That's for damn sure. And I think that's one thing people like about him.
Yeah.
Super crazy. Yeah. Seeing stuff like that in the news, being like, damn, the district I work for is under investigation.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude.
Yeah. Well, so they said
Scary.
they're afraid of colleges and universities having ICE at their schools now. And be like,
Yeah. Even high schools, middle schools, everybody's
same
kind of
thing.
on and then, But the thing I always think about is until they come up and come through the door, how the fuck do you know if they're ICE? They don't have a truck that says ICE, right?
they do. Yeah.
Do they literally?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't imagine it like that. Okay. Should Google things once in a while, maybe. Fucking ICE trucks out there. Not ice, but ice, Yeah. We're definitely on the cusp of some really big shifts in America, I think, right now.
Yeah.
It's the pendulum, she's always swinging back and forth.
I read an article somewhere that said this presidency right now could be the end of the two-party system. Because of what happened with Democrats and Kamala and pushing that forward. Obviously, people were upset with and mad with that. But then with Trump coming in, as the president, people are going to be obviously upset with that, and so they're like, the two-party system might die after this.
I don't know. It's kind of a stupid fucking system, really. Honestly, the fact that we just only have these two choices that are barely different, especially nowadays, right? Back in the day, there was a quite difference between Republicans and Democrats, and those two things definitely shifted over the course of American history, right? Of what they actually were and what they stood for, platforms, etc. But you look at it now, and it's just everything's just a guise. It's just a guise for what they're really doing is just money is changing hands.
Yep.
Powerful people and powerful corporations are just getting shit handled the way they want by putting money in pockets. You can't have in my opinion, you can't have a true democracy with money involved in politics. How the fuck? It's not possible. Think about anything money's involved. It's going to be different. It's going to be different. It'd be like if the church was pure profit, which,
It is.
Yeah, a little bit.
Even though this is non-profit,
A little bit.
those pastors are certainly having their salaries taken care of.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of bullshit churches. That's a thing that people got to recognize that. There's so much with that. It does not mean all churches and people make these blanket statements.
Yeah, no, not everyone.
Some of these dudes are fucking rich. Who's that guy that looks like a demon, dude? Who is that one?
Joel Osteen?
No, not him. He's like this old dude, and there's weird clips of him. He's he's one of those I think he's a what do you call him? The not born again. Evangelist. Yeah, he's like a televangelist, and he's been doing it a long time, and he's got this really creepy way of speaking. And you're like looking at his like beady ass little eyes. And then there's like a clip of him where somebody said something like, there's people that say you're a demon or something. He was like, don't you ever say that. And he's like all crazy. And you're like, what the fuck? That guy's walking around preaching Jesus?
And people are like, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Dude, he's making so much money. So many people go to his church.
Yeah, no, that guy has it going on. I like what he's saying.
That
The way
looks
he's
like
saying
a
it.
man of the Lord. It's wild, dude. It is wild. And I'm somebody who I consider myself a follower of Jesus. I love all of that. I consider myself Christian in that sense, but there's a difference between being part of this group called Christians in 2024. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Most of the church is corrupt. Think about all the pedophiles with the Catholic Church over the years. And it's so deep when you start looking into these places. Here's what I want to know. Here's what I don't get. Whenever there's like a shit ton of power and money involved, why does it always go to fucking kids, dude? Why? Why is pedophilia what people who get really powerful want?
Weird, right?
It's weird. It's
like
really
I got all this
weird.
money, like I can buy this, and this. What can't I really have? Children.
Oh God!
But you know what?
Oh my God!
I'm pretty rich. I probably can get a child any day. Yeah, let's try this.
Ugh, I know, dude.
Yeah,
it's just so crazy when you see it. Whenever money and power gets to a certain level, weird shit starts happening. Like really weird shit. I don't understand.
Now you have me think, why is that? Like, why is it like?
I know.
Like it's like really rich people, and it's found out that he had a child pornography ring. And like, what? Like,
yeah.
Why is that the go? Why is that the go-to? Like,
I don't know. Of all things, because it is like a. I mean, I don't know. And get canceled, especially pre-Trump. Maybe I won't get canceled now. But just thinking about it, like what? I don't know. I don't even want to go down this road today. I feel like there's so many things happening in the world. Like I've been trying to cut back on news because I have a long commute, dude.
Yeah.
So I listen to news quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there's times, and plus the show that I love listening to, which I'll still give them a shout out, a fucking hesitant shout out right now. Breaking Points. It's a great news program, unbiased. They cover both sides. They make fun of both sides. Like they're really just trying to give you all the facts. But since Trump got elected, one of them's leaning more Trump and one of them's leaning more not Trump.
Yeah.
And they are just bickering to the point I turn it off.
Yeah.
But I just, when you take in too much of it, you can't help but it affect you in a negative way. You're trying to have a regular day and you're just like, oh my God, what happened today? And this too? How many things did he do today?
Yeah.
Like, does he sleep? What the fuck? This guy's working around the clock.
I know. Well, it was funny. Like, Franz, obviously an avid Trump person.
Sure.
Right. And he's a Latino. Right. And it's so funny because he's like, finally, we're going to get rid of this DEI shit. And I was like, bro, you're part of that DEI. Like, you realize that, right? Like, you are absolutely part of that.
That is hilarious.
He's like, no, but they're going to get all that stuff for the he, she's and all that. He always says that. He, she's.
He,
Get
she's.
rid of those he, she's. I'm like, oh my God.
Get rid of those he, she's. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing that has always weirded me out about it is like, I understand we want to be inclusive. We want people to feel welcome, but to change language in a way that actually, this is not really A, this is probably more like B. Like it breaks grammatical rules, right? To say, they, when you should be saying he or she, which is just what the national language is. And then you look at languages like Spanish that have all kinds of feminine, masculine shit. Yeah. It's like clearly part of human nature and human history.
Latinx, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it's like, I get that we want everyone to feel inclusive, but are we really changing our whole language just for a small group of people? Like, it's not that oh my God, I feel the hate mail. I feel the hate mail immediately. Hold on, let me pull that back a little bit. No, but in all honesty, it does feel weird that we change language in that way, where we're like, we're going to say it this way just because we want that, one in every however many people. If you look up the numbers, I was looking up the numbers recently. It's like how many people were actually transgender is what I wanted to know. Uh-huh. And when I looked that up, it's like 0.01 of the population, I want to say, or maybe it was 0.1%. And you think about that and you're like, everybody's got their pronouns on their emails.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
We all do it. And it's like, what about left-handed people, bitches? Why is everything built for right-handed people? We don't worry about those guys?
Yeah.
The whole world is built counter to how your body naturally works.
Mice.
No one gives a fuck.
Fucking right hand.
Yeah, everything.
Tenki.
You know, you have a
Right
left-handed daughter.
Yeah.
I got a left-handed son.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess I'm just making the point of like, why don't we take that approach? If we took that approach with everything, it's ridiculous. But for some reason with this, it's like the pendulum can never just sit in the middle. It always has to swing so far back and forth that we get these crazy things.
Imagine now, okay, let's say, imagine that it gets so crazy that, it's not going to get crazy anymore because, again, he's changing things around.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this whole the inclusion thing, like, can you imagine if you were, like, filling out, like, a job application and, and it gives you the optional part to put in your ethnicity and your race?
Yeah.
Can you imagine, $1, if they included every ethnicity race, and then you have to, like,
that's a good point, too, right? That's a good point, too. What about the people that aren't on the list? That's fucked up.
Other.
They don't even have an option. They're just
called
other.
Yeah.
They're just other. Isn't that the whole point? We're trying to avoid that shit.
Yeah.
There's a point where it just becomes like, I'm with you conceptually. I think anybody can be whatever they want. I really do. I don't care. And I'm willing to respect it and treat it that way. And if I had a friend that was like, I was a man before and you knew me then and now I'm a woman and my name is fill in female name and I want you to call me by he, she, her. No fucking problem.
Yeah. No.
Doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't have anything to do with me. It doesn't directly affect me in any shape, way, or form.
Correct. And I think it's totally legit. I really believe there are people that are born that are like, I'm born in the wrong gender. But I think we all feel that about a lot of things. But no one's stopping you if you want to be like, well, even though despite I'm born in this man's body, I want to be a woman. Like, fucking, let's go. Let's go, not bro. Let's go, my female friend. You know what I mean? Like,
sis.
Let's go, sis. Because I don't care. And I want you to be happy. And if that's what makes you happy, and that's what you feel in your heart, who am I? I'm not in your heart. I'm not in your head.
Yeah, I feel that, $1.
Everybody live the way you want.
I was born in the wrong socioeconomic family.
Oh, God. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm supposed to be rich. But I was born a poor black child.
Yeah. Now, do I think we should be aware of our biases toward those? Should we acknowledge the hate crimes and the hate that have happened?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have to understand it's a minority group. Sure. I fully with all that. But everybody has to put their pronouns now?
Yeah.
Every person? Shouldn't you just kind of let us know if you prefer it? You'll just let me know.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean...
Yeah.
Do you need to ask me what mine are? You know what I'm saying?
It's so funny, like, because Fran, again, is very against that and that nature, like, so strongly, right? That he's like, he treats blah, blah, blah. I was like, bro, you fuck around. I was like, your fucking son.
Isn't it ironic how the universe works?
I was like, your son might all of a sudden turn out like he wants to be, he likes dudes, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he thinks he's female. Yeah. No, never my son. I'm gonna teach him. Da, da, da. I was like, I don't think it works that way, man. Like,
yeah, yeah, it is what it is.
At some point in time, your kid's gonna have a mind of their own.
And I think, we have to get into the nuance of these discussions too. Like, it's not all one thing. Like, transgender does not mean gay, right? Which is interesting. Like, that's a cultural unique perspective, because like when you talk to my wife, like when in Filipino, they have one word for all of it. It's bakla. Uh-huh. Bakla means gay, transgender, transvestite. You could be a straight man who dresses up as a woman. All of it is bakla. That's all they call it, right? Which, I don't know. Who's to say that that's wrong? But when we're talking about it here, I think there's a difference because I think there's a lot more people born gay than are born transgender. And I'm just talking out my ass. I don't really know. I haven't done the research, but it just seems logical to me because I really know that growing up, we've all grown up around people where you're like, 100% you're gay.
Yeah.
Like you didn't choose that shit. You're just gay.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's how God made you.
Yeah.
And so there's a different thing between that and I was born as a man and I feel like I'm a woman. And so I want to be a woman. I'm not taking it away, but let's not lump it all together.
Yeah.
It's not all one thing.
I know. I always mess around with Fran on that one too, because he was always like, no, it says man with a woman. It doesn't say man with a man in the Bible. It doesn't say woman with a woman in the Bible, bro. And I was like, it also says do not judge.
Isn't that the most? That is the one you just bring up every time.
Yeah.
Just every time people are talking about other people.
Yeah.
Don't judge.
Yeah.
Do what you want in your house. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Got it. But as soon as you're talking about other people, yeah, it does. It does. It's the whole thing. Don't judge people. What are you doing? Wasting your time worrying about what somebody else is doing with their life. Those people I like. I've never messed with Fran like that, but I've always loved messing with those people. My whole life. The more homophobic you are, the more I'm going to do crazy shit. I was crazy in high school, dude.
Yeah.
I was a rebel in every way. I don't know if I ever told you this, but because I transferred at one point to this really conservative, it was a public school, but the one that made me cut my hair and all that stuff. You had to control your facial hair. And that was a very old school Christian, conservative, Republican area I was growing up in. And they already hate, nobody liked that I was grunge or like the way that I did that stuff, or people, my friends all had blue hair and stuff like that. But I remember just because they were so homophobic and it irritated me, I started painting my nails when I went to school. I just painted I hated it. I also hated my life at that school. I don't know if I've ever told that before. I grew up in like Fresno, bro, at Fresno High School.
Yeah.
And it's like a really old school. It's the oldest school in Fresno. I grew up around all Mexican kids. Like I was surrounded by a mix of culture, a lot of Asian kids too, and white kids as well. Not a ton of black kids. I've said that before, except for the basketball team. Which that's why I had to stop playing basketball because I wasn't good enough. But no, so when I went to that other school, I hated my life, and so I pushed in every way that I could. They used to tell me my hair couldn't be a certain length. I probably told on the podcast a few times.
Yeah. Yep.
I used to tuck it behind my ears and grow it out. They had these people had a
ruler.
They had a ruler, but they had a blue collared shirt that they kept in the office.
Oh, there was.
And
like
they would call
measuring.
you in, and you had to put it on and button the top button of the shirt. This is not now. If this was a private school, you're like, yeah, it seems par for the course. This is not. This is a public school in a public school district, and the whole district was like that. And they were real close, Clovis and Fresno, and so I switched over there. And and then they make you, if you have your hair, I managed to get it super long. Like if I pulled it down in the front, it was like down to here, down a little bit under my chin. But I'd keep it tucked really tight because if it ever comes out, then they see it, you're fucked. And so I remember one time I was in a school play, and I had permission to grow it out. Bro, I used to walk by Mr. Smith. His name was Mr. Smith. This fucking evil dude, bro. He was bald. We all knew he was just bitter. But I remember just pulling it out and just walking by him and him just like beelining for me, like, this kid again. They'd always send me home, tell me to get a haircut. I'd have my mom take a 1/4 inch off of something and go back the next day and just try, I'd gel it down, whatever the fuck I had to do. But I remember him being so pissed when I pulled out that excuse. I was like, I have to have long hair for the play that I'm in. I used to love shit like that.
That's Cali school. She's very strict on what their dress code is.
Is that right?
Yeah. So like natural color hair, like no
Really?
weird color hairs or anything.
Wow,
like
in
that.
2024, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine
And
that's still a thing.
natural colored hair, like what is it? Uniforms, and they have like free dress days, right? On Fridays, but like on the free dress days, it's like no like super logos or anything like that they can
Really?
have and everything like that. So
Yeah, I see it. You know what I do like about uniforms for kids in schools is it takes away the status of like who's got money, who doesn't, who has the nicer shoes, who has the nicer, when everything's uniform, literally.
Yeah.
I think it does take a certain thing out. Speaking as a kid who grew up poor, and Clovis was actually very wealthy area. And so I was very out of place there. And I just, those memories, I think about that. And I'm like, we did all have to wear a uniform. But I probably would have fucking complained back then too.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this uniform. I'm going to turn my pants into cut off shorts.
Yeah.
Doing something, Just always pushing against the system. That's the thing when you're young, is like that certain kind of like angst or something. Like you have this desire to push against authority.
Yeah.
I remember, was it a podcast I heard that was talking about that it's like, it's just a natural part of development through adolescence, is that's why adolescents are the way that they are, is it's a genetic thing. They start pushing boundaries because they're testing their own individuality and their own ability to take care of themselves.
Yeah. Well, they have that. There's always like all these diagnoses of different issues nowadays, right? And
There's
so
a billion.
and so one of them was, tears now late brother that just passed.
Mhm.
He had what they called ODD.
I remember you talking about
Yeah,
this.
which is because we said like you're like, oh, I bet that's Jay. I remember you saying
Yeah.
that's Jay, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's an opposition,
Oppositional
Yeah.
something disorder.
definitely just
Yeah. I think
just don't like authority.
All fucking teenagers have that for sure.
Yeah, it's like what now we're just diagnosing that like it's like
Yeah.
no, he just has that.
Yeah. Yes.
Or like I remember one time with my brother, like he was super bad, and they took my parents took him and they said that he had middle child syndrome. I'm like, what the fuck does that? What?
MCS, bro. MCS.
He's not as loved as the oldest, and he's not as loved as the baby in the family. And I was like, okay, well, there's another one in between the four of us, and she's fine. Like,
That is a funny thing when it is so crazy how two kids can grow up in the same house
yeah,
and be totally different.
Yeah.
That was certainly me and my sister.
Yeah.
Like we're so different. And then it's the same thing with all three of my kids. You're just like, how is everybody coming out of this so different? It's the same place. It's the same rules. It's same fucking everything. But that's a lesson you learn when you first have kids, I think, is that, like just how they come out with some stuff already.
yeah,
Like you're like, they come out with there's a soul. There's something. When a kid is born, they're not just a blank slate that you turn into something at all.
yeah,
Like they come in, and that's, I think, I didn't think it consciously, but I thought it subconsciously before I had kids, that it was like that. It's a blank slate. And you're
Yeah.
like, you start, out of the box. Oh, yeah, okay. You're already doing your thing. Okay. Right. Oh, you have an opinion now. All right.
Lots of opinions, huh?
And the different phases of parenthood are so interesting.
Yeah,
Like the first is just like getting run over by a truck. You're just like fucking babies crying all night, shit and piss constantly around the clock, crying. You're just fucking stressed. You can't sleep. Like it's a nightmare in that way. And then little by little, you're like, oh, they're trying to take care of themselves a little bit.
yeah,
And then they start fucking walking around, getting into shit.
yeah.
Eating things they're not supposed to eat, opening cleaners, fucking trying in every way to kill themselves. And then it's a whole nother game because then you're just trying to keep them from killing themselves.
Keep them alive.
Keep them alive. That's all I'm trying to do. They want death. They're
Yeah.
just looking for death around every corner. And they start getting a little bit older and then like, oh my God, you can talk. We can have conversations. No.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You know that word.
You have your own mind. So we can talk, but maybe it's not always going to be fun. Okay. Got it.
You're like, great.
Great.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's what I always say with Callie when she was born. I remember first holding her, and I was like, "Oh shit, I am responsible for teaching you right and wrong." Oh man, I've done a lot wrong,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to teach you how to do this shit. I was like, I'm barely figuring this shit out
Yeah.
myself. Like, you're just
I think being a parent makes you have so much empathy for your own parents
yeah,
because you're just like, they're just people, dude. We're all fucked up. We
Yeah.
all have we're not perfect and we don't act perfect. We don't manage our emotions right all the time, but we're still humans and it's still my job to raise this kid.
yeah,
Even though I don't have my shit all the way together, I got to try and raise them so that they have their shit together. Good luck.
yeah.
Good luck having, if you don't have your shit together, your kid's not going to have your shit together. And who has their shit together? Jesus had no kids. Yeah. Man, it's neat. And then they get older, and then the teenagers, that's when the independence starts happening, the pushback, ew, dad, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They want their independence from you. Why? Which I was the why kid, 100%. But you have a why kid. I know
Oh
this.
my God.
I know this. You have one of the whyest kids.
Yeah. Why? What for?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What for?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, can you? Or the new thing is like, she's she's testing those boundaries right now,
Yeah.
and so it's like, hey, Callie, can you go do this? No, like, what? What did you say? No. Let's think about that answer again. Do you want to go do this now? Okay, give me. Oh, and the new
5
one is
minutes.
no. The new one is 1 sec.
1 sec.
1 sec.
I'll get it in
sec.
1 sec, Dad.
I'll get it 1 sec. 1 sec. 1 sec. 1 sec.
Yep.
1 sec.
That's
1 sec.
passed. It took you a sec to say that.
Yeah. 1 sec. All right, cool. Seconds up. Dad, 1 second. Like,
Yep,
yep.
another one.
No, there we go. Let's go.
Did you mean 7 seconds? Because that's where we're at right now.
It's just, bro. It's the 1 sec right now. 1 sec. 1 sec.
Yeah.
And then just testing those limits, and you're just like, again, don't hit any of that stuff. Like my mom whooped our ass. But
For sure.
I don't hit. We don't spank anything like that. And so, but it's just like you're just like.
You really don't understand the differential in physics here. I'm so much bigger than you.
Fuck, say no one more time. You're just like,
Yeah, there's something about that like arrogance of a kid when they're so small and you're like, you don't understand how the world
I will
works.
unalive you right now.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, they are the joy of our lives. How could they not be,
Yeah.
When you do clean someone's shit up when they're a baby and watch them turn into a person driving a truck, working a job.
Yeah.
It's wild. What a crazy, crazy experience. And all the while, time's just going by. You're changing. And then you realize it's all finite in this life, dude.
Yeah.
At some point, there's, a certain amount of time that you spend here. But that's why I really think there's something bigger. I know we've talked about this before. Do you have any idea what you think it might be? What happens when you die? I've asked you this before, I think.
Yeah. Well, my energy will be reused into the universe, into some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Do you think there's an essence of you that's not physical, that's somehow like connected to something different? Like a spirit or a soul, that it doesn't have a measurable physical quantity or mass, or not so much?
No, I mean, I think we all have a soul. I think everyone has a soul. But like I said, when my time is done here on this earth, that my energy will be distributed and redispersed.
Well, I mean, that's quite
other
literally
things.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because energy doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And that's the Buddhist perspective, is like the very literal, like, think of your life. We think of this ourselves as this permanent thing, but we're more like a cloud.
Yeah.
That fills with rain, and eventually the rain goes into like a bunch of different places, and then it hits the river, and it's all, and that cloud is still in existence. It didn't go away.
Yeah.
It didn't disappear.
Yeah. Well, the rain.
Yeah. So quite literally at a physical level, it's totally true.
Yeah.
Like, because nothing that's in you can go away. The other thing that's cool is everything you're made out of was once in the center of a supernova.
Yeah.
Supernova. That's way cool. When you think about it, like,
Yeah.
we are literally, everything you're looking at in this room was once at the center of a supernova star, a fucking exploding star out into the universe. And that's what everything we know is made of. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
You think about how convoluted the universe is too, with black holes and bending of space time. They think that we are now at the point where scientists say we fully get conceptually time travel. It's totally possible. We just don't have the technology to do it yet.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
The
What
math,
does that
the math
mean?
is mathing. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think we know. We can't even understand what that means.
yeah.
I've always thought of time as like almost like, I don't know. I don't know that time's the extra dimension, but I do think there's more out there than just this. And I think there is like a spirit that's a certain something where here we would say, oh, there's no physical part, but there's what do they say? There's 9 dimensions, right? And only 3 of them fully expanded. And that's what we experience as a 3-dimensional world. But technically there's like 9 dimensions. And then there's like all these things we don't understand about bending a space-time, where it like you could, and that's at the heart of what we understand about time travel now, by the way. We just don't physically know how we could actually do it. But you just think about all of that shit. To me, I'm like, that's crazy. It's crazy. Just regular shit, regular life, regular facts of what life is mind-boggling.
You know what movie fucked me up with the whole like space and like size? Like, and it's like a simple movie. It's a stupid Men in Black. Fucking Men in Black fucked me up, dude, because it was like,
that part, the zoom.
not the zoom, but like necessarily like the cat, right, with the galaxy that it's on his necklace. And it was like, people say, that, it's, it's not it's size, right?
Dude.
Not size. It's like galaxies. Like, just think about the bacteria that's happening right now.
Mm.
That can have universes on those.
Right?
Like
Right?
Like universes
Well,
on
that's
lobes.
what I'm saying is like when we get to the smallest microscopic level that we can imagine, and we get to the largest macroscopic level we can imagine, shit looks real similar, dude.
Yeah.
Space-time foam, it's called. Like when you zoom, you zoom out past the planet, past the solar system, past the galaxy cluster, and then you start seeing these like fucking like slews of galaxy clusters, and you get further and further, and it just looks like this convoluted foam. It's the same thing you see when you get to as small as we can possibly get. We see the same thing.
Yeah, when we're looking
and all this weird shit
microscope.
happens where it exists, but it doesn't exist. Like what? It's crazy.
Yeah.
And to think that we just get up and go to work. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Nope. You know what? Not anymore, dollar. As of today, I am done working because the universe is just fucking weird.
Bro, I'm moving out of this neighborhood. I'm going to a different galaxy. This shit's
just
whack.
going to a different
Fucking
galaxy.
this spiral arm of the galaxy is not. I'm not feeling it
I'm not
anymore.
feeling it.
No, I'm
I
gonna
need
find
something
another
more-
cluster.
I need something more rectangle.
Right. That's the other thing is we're still learning about like different types of galaxies.
Yeah.
And different ways, like planets and stuff. The things we don't even conceive of. We think everything is because you grow up learning Newtonian physics. You know, we got these planets going around the sun, and that's just the way it is. You know, there's these places. There's like 4 different suns spinning around each other, planets inside with these crazy wacky orbits, and then in some cases you're like, oh, some of those actually could have life, and you're like, can you imagine living on a world like that with 4 suns?
Well, it's even like talking about like, you know, where Neil deGrasse, you know, Tyson, when he was talking about like, you know, life on other places, you know, he was like, you know, we think of it as simple for us. We're carbon based life forms.
Yeah.
He goes, you know, but think about it. He goes, you know, there could be helium based. There could be, you know, like other kind
Absolutely.
of different based life
Yes.
forms, you know, and they just live off a different way, you know.
I've always thought about that. Since I was young, I was like, why are we so
like
cocky?
some other fucking planet right now is breathing helium dollar. Just like
That's what I'm saying. There's places with sulfur rain and shit, and like that's what I mean. Is like I've always thought that we're so cocky when we're looking for life. Like I don't think we realize how narrow our definition of life is. Like we're gonna hit some shit. You're like, is that life? We already have.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to viruses, we're like, is that alive? Is it? That's not quite alive.
Yeah,
but it
no.
kind of
It
is.
is, yeah.
Like I don't know. So imagine like the possibilities, like you said, any number of elements that things could be made out of, or like you said, breathing totally different shit, totally different. Maybe they don't even live on a planet.
Well, they're also saying, right, that like everything needs light to survive. But there's been proven that there's bacteria
Mhm.
that can grow in the absence of light.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, but it has to be a certain temperature. If it gets to like crazy thousands of degrees, nothing can live. Oh no,
Yeah.
no, there's those too. They live in volcanoes and shit. Yeah. Shit lives everywhere.
Yeah.
Like this part of the reason why I think there has to be a creator is it's just life seems like this. It's almost like, right? Like if you just have a bunch of dirt in your yard and you don't do shit to it for like 10 years, you have all kinds of life there, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's everywhere. Like it seems like a natural things that planets do. Like they bloom life.
Yeah.
Like they reach a certain point or a certain set of conditions, and then life just arises. And I remember in college, I think I've talked about this before. I did this speech, and it was in my speech class, and the whole argument was, is there life on other planets? And I was trying to make this really strong argument that there was. I rolled out this big piece of paper across the whole classroom, which was the number of possible life-bearing planets that we know of in the known universe. But it's even bigger. It was this crazy number. And you're like, you decide. You know, it was like this big thing at the end or whatever. But that was part of what I talked about in that was that we see whenever there's like basic proteins or basic any of the fundamental building blocks of proteins and life, as soon as like they're there, all it takes is like an electrical anything, so storms, whatever, and boom, those proteins and amino acids start to form, they start to connect. It's like life really just seems
On
to
this
be
planet, though.
Sure, but what could it be somewhere else though?
Yeah.
And why would it might not be that at all?
Yeah, it could be a totally
but it could be
different,
something
yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
What if in other places it's not like you're one individual being, you're like 4 individual beings.
Yeah, working
fuck?
together as one
fuck?
unit.
Yeah. The Mike and Tony show. Yeah, dude. I love thinking about shit like that. I'm just so grateful to be alive. I do. I'm that cheesy guy. I thank God every day. Like I have a commute, so I talk to God a little bit. But I'm just thankful just to have these experiences, even when they suck. Because like looking back on those scary times in the hospital when I thought maybe I was going to die and I'm like laying there, I don't know. I'm like kind of fond of those memories. Like every experience is better than no experience, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's extreme. Because there's people probably would be like, fuck this, dude. You don't have to live my life.
Yeah.
My life is rough,
Yeah.
buddy. So,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, again, statistically, we were lucky to be born
We are.
right here.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this area.
I love the experience of life. Being born as a white male in America in 1979, growing up here, living here, thinking I'm poor, and then look at the rest of the world. You're like, hell no, you weren't
Yeah.
poor, dude. There was a roof over your head, so you're good. You're gravy. Food everywhere, stores everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like it always cracks me up the conversation I had with Bruce Leroy and talking about like, we're not the same. Like, I can go, if I need some water, I'll just go down, to the refrigerator where it's filtered and cold and just go and even get some ice and, do that. But, somewhere in Africa, fucking someone's trying to get to the water and, getting snatched up by a fucking crocodile.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are not the same, yo.
And even if they got the water, then it's like
Dirty
you're
as
fucking
water.
parasites. Just constant. That's one thing I can't stand to think about. It really gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking about in places like that. Because there's places, sadly, in the world where people they're infested with parasites.
Well, there's places here in America that still
That's
have
true.
water that's not drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's
Sure.
like I one of my friends that I knew from one of the associations I belong to, they're in Kansas, and they were like, yeah, there's some places in Kansas where they have like water, like those deep rock water things. They have water filling stations.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What do
Yeah.
you mean? Like, yeah, you can't drink your water at your house. Like, whoa, what? Like,
Yeah.
that's supposed to be like some safe shit. Like, you're supposed to be able to drink that. Like, no,
Not everywhere.
not everywhere. Like,
No,
shit.
there's some places don't drink water.
that reminded me, like, that time in like Detroit when that whole thing happened where there was like
Oh, yeah.
non-drinkable water. You're like, fuck, that's a major ass city. Like, how do you mean you have no drinking water? Like, fucking mud
Damn.
water.
Dude, everything is so fragile. It would take so little
Yeah.
to just completely collapse our society. We think we have it made in the shade. Everything's so groovy. We don't realize we are a couple of natural disasters away from anything's possible. Nothing, dude. No internet, no electricity, fucking no phone reception. Nobody's able to fly planes.
Yeah.
Like we're Fucksville.
Well, that's what
Every
I said.
man for
That's
himself.
what I always talk about. Like, when the conversation I have with my friend Sarah, like if a zombie apocalypse happened, like, and just shut everything down, like, fuck, dude, keep your glasses. Because keep your glasses, dollar. Because
It's starting to feel real to me now.
yeah, keep those glasses, bro. Because you're not gonna be able to go to fucking Costco and get a new prescription, bro. Like, no one's making those again.
And think of all this shit. You have no idea how it's made.
It's funny. After that conversation I had with her, I was like, shit, I probably should get some new glasses then, because I'd just be wearing contacts all the time.
Yeah, I just got a closet full of glasses. But the problem is that if your prescription changes, and as you age, it generally does.
Yeah.
So then you can't. It's just an ongoing thing.
I'm gonna go to the optometrist right now. And be like, okay, can we just increase my prescription? I'm gonna pick up a new, because I have insurance. Another first world thing. I'm just gonna get a new set of prescriptions that are stronger and stronger, like as I progress.
Yeah.
But they're like, you don't need those that strong right now. Yeah, I'm planning for the future.
Planning for the future.
Like, just in case.
Did your
some shit
doctor
happens.
write this? This is weird. Yeah. Think about all the shit that we use. That's why we need each other, because we have all this stuff because we have all of us.
Yeah.
We have so many people that contribute to our society. Such a long history of people finding shit out the hard way. They're gonna look back on us as if we're finding shit out the hard way right now. You know what I mean? We look at all it, you're just like, damn. But I'm happy to be alive.
Yeah.
It's another one in the bag there, Baron Von Pierce. I'm so glad you're back. Only 2 episodes in the history without you.
Yeah.
So
And the last one was good. I approve of
Okay.
that $1.
Okay.
So
All right.
Couch Guy is
Take it.
a good fill-in. So,
Okay. Don't tell him that. Hope he's
Yeah,
not listening.
he's going to be on here all the time.
Stay humble, Couch Guy.
And with that $1, it is a wrap.
Cheers.
And that's how you say it, dollar. You don't say the cheers first and then say that's a wrap.